Welcome to Racing to Win. Sha Tin coming up this Sunday with a little bit of dual track racing taking place, some on the turf, some on the all-weather, and 10 winners to find, and this is the place we're going to try and do that for you. Busy show coming up with a little bit of a preview towards the Group 1 next weekend also. But we welcome Paul Lally and Tom Wooden. Tom, what are some of the highlights of Sunday?
A few Class 3 races on the card for Sunday, Mark. A few races on the all-weather as well. A number of debutants stepping out. But looking forward to seeing what Rising Force can do on the all-weather early on in the day. Race number 3. Terrific last start winner with Richard Kingscote. He's had 2 trials since, and I think he's ready to win again.
Yeah, Ricky, you with a strong team in fresh off a good night at the Valley on Wednesday night. Can you jackpot us, Paul?
No jackpots. All the money was won last week. Plethora of first starters, though, so we'll see how those go. Some of them have trialled really well, so there's always a lot of interest in when those make their debuts.
We are just over a week away from the last Group 1 of the season. The Standard Chartered Champions and Chater coming up, and the local nominations out during the week, Tom. And of course, we knew that Dubai Honour was coming to represent the overseas contingent.
Yes, therefore William Haggis, and I think he arrives in Hong Kong on Saturday night. But Bundle Award, obviously the lead-up winner of the Queen Mother Memorial Cup, Cap Farrar, the Derby winner there, who we know the Derby form's actually stacking up quite strongly in recent weeks since the Derby. Got ensued, therefore John Size, 5G Patch, Tony Cruz saved some of his horses from Champions Day, opted not to run there and line them up in these races. Noisy Boy, Ruby Lot, Sword Point, Voyage Bubble, of course, going for the Triple Crown and winning Dragon. I wonder, Paul, how Ruby Lot's going to handle the 2400.
You know, he won 1,200 metres fresh up this season, so he's now 12 all the way up to 2,400 metres. His other wins have been over 14 and 18, so now he steps up to the 24, so adds an extra dimension, doesn't he?
It is a big field this year for the Champions and Chater. Dubai Honour is back. His racing manager is Philip Robertson, and Nick spoke to the former, also Hong Kong champion jockey.
Well, an absolute pleasure to be joined on this week's show by a very familiar name to many here in Hong Kong, especially those with slightly longer memories. Philip Robinson, of course, a former dual champion jockey here in Hong Kong. More on that shortly, but at the moment, the main focus, Philip, is Dubai Honour. He's coming over for another crack here in Hong Kong, and he's having a go at the Champions and Chater this time. An exciting time for all involved.
Yeah, I think, you know, he's one of those horses that we've all been so proud to be a part of. He loves racing. He certainly loves travelling. He's been really successful. You know, I think we're just shy of now his earnings topping the £5 million. So which is no mean feat for a UK horse. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get over that barrier in Hong Kong this time.
Indeed. I mean, you obviously would have been very familiar with riding some of these big travellers, of course, when you were running for the likes of Clive Bretton and Michael Jarvis and co. But just looking at his profile, Philip, I mean, as you say, he's won nearly the £5 million. He's won 9 races all up. He's a 4-time Group 1 winner. It pains me to say it, but he's the sort of horse that goes a little bit unheralded. But, I mean, he's been an absolute star, hasn't he, really?
Yeah, he's never stopped improving. And as I say, he loves racing, you know, and he's now 7 years old. And for me, he's still at his best. He hasn't seemed to have declined or anything. I watched him 2 mornings ago doing his final blow on the grass. And he just has not lost any of that enthusiasm at all. He loves his work. He comes off, he's a happy horse. It's as if he knows he's about to go travelling again. He seems to sort of just perk up just before his trips. You know, he seems to. I think he can sort of register the way William trains him to realise that, all right, we're not far away from a run, and he starts perking up. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just looking at his form, Philip. I mean, since last year's King George, of course, behind Goliath. I mean, he's either run second or he's won. He's won another Group 1 down in Australia. He's run most recently behind Via Sistina. And, well, I suppose most importantly, we should probably touch upon his run here in the Vase, of course, where he's run so well behind another Newmarket-trained runner in Giavolotto.
Absolutely. You know, and he's staying on very well. The big thing is now stepping up from the 1.25 miles to a 1.5 miles. I think it was last year's QE2 in Hong Kong, where myself and William were coming away from the track and sitting in the taxi, And we both sort of agreed, and we looked and we said, look, he hasn't got the speed, especially in Hong Kong with that mile and a quarter. They have to be quite quick to get a good position before the bend. And we both sort of said, well, I think we better start looking at a mile and a half if we come here again. And so I think we took him to France, where he won the Grand Paris Saint-Cloud over 12 furlongs, and showed us that he, without any shadow of a doubt, sorted out the 12 furlongs very well. In fact, I thought it was in improved form. And, and then obviously he ran second in the German race from Baden-Baden, which was another great run, also over a mile and a half. And then he come and run second there in the Vars. We dropped him back after he won the Tancred this year in April. We dropped him back because there was no other race really. There was only a 10 furlong race into Queen Elizabeth, and he still ran a great race in that. So that just shows you the heart the horse has got, and he's come back to England and he's bouncing again and he's ready for this trip.
That's Dubai Honour. Now let's just touch upon your time here, because as I say, many will remember your name. You were here, I think, for 6 years, twice a champion jockey. You're still the only Englishman to have achieved that. You actually won this race back in '89, I think, as well, didn't you?
I did. I believe San Domenico, I think it was. A bit different then. The race was a bit shorter. When this race got mentioned to me, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago or whenever, I thought, well, we're going back in trip, because when I won it, as you said, it was, I think, 1800. And I said, well, I'm sure it might be a mile and a quarter, but I'm sure it's no further than that. And they said, no, it's definitely a mile and a half. I said, oh, okay, so it's been readjusted, which is great. Had it been 1800, I don't think we'd be coming over.
No, indeed. And what was it like back then, Philip? Obviously, the international scene has changed so much, hasn't it, racing? And it's a job to keep up with it all, really. But what was it like back when you arrived, obviously? I imagine quite a proud moment for you to be a champion jockey here as well. Oh,
absolutely. It was wonderful for my whole family. It was because I brought them out as very young. Well, I had two young children, 2 young girls, when I came over with the wife. And then I had the boy while we was actually working there. And it was an amazing experience. We made a lot of friends in racing and out of racing, some of which we still see today or hear of regularly. And it set them off in life, I think, give them a great footing. The international school system out there really made them grounded, and they've all done extremely well in their life since then. It was just a wonderful experience, and as you said, we had a wonderful time there. To become champion of jockey there 2 years was amazing. Fantastic. If I had the chance to do it all over again, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd love to get the ride on a horse like Dubai Honour. And that connection, a slightly watery one, but it continues because David Eustace now training it. You, of course, rode for his uncle David Orton, didn't you, with plenty of success as well?
Yes, David. Well, I originally came out for Chinese trainer Lam Hung Fei, but then I sort of clicked with David, and from my second year onwards, I moved across to David, which at the time he was getting quite a lot of horses, and it just made a lot of sense, him being English and I'm over there. We just got together and things sort of snowballed in the right direction, and he got some nice horses and I rode plenty of winners, and very enjoyable time.
Philip back in town for the Champion Show with Dubai Honour. Paul, is this his best chance to win in Hong Kong?
Well, it's 4th time here, isn't it? His last 3 times, 3rd, 7th, and then that second last time. So, look, he's up against... There's no standouts from the locals, so it's a really good chance for him to win.
Certainly is. It's a destination that William Haggis has always wanted to win in here in Hong Kong, and he's got a big chance, of course, of doing it. And they've opted rather to go the 2,000 metres QE2 to run the 2,400 metres. He's only been back in the UK about a month, the horse, so he's done a fair bit of travelling.
He does. Been on plenty of flights. On Friday morning at Sha Tin, Tom, a couple of the locals got ready for this race with Cap Ferrat, the Derby winner, Voyage Bubble and Bundle Award. And as you said, Voyage Bubble looking to become just the second horse to win the Triple Crown.
Yeah, and Bundle Award settled towards the rear. Obviously, Voyage Bubble settled just on midfield there. And I thought Cap Ferrat, he was strong at the line. I don't think there's any worries about him staying 2,400 metres at all. Cap Ferrat, the Derby winner there, he ran pretty well in the QE2 Cup, and we saw again midweek, Paul, the Derby form stacking up pretty strongly.
Yeah, California Totality winning again. Look, he's only won the one race, hasn't he, old Cap Ferrat, and that is the Derby. Look, Voyage Bubble, he's by deep field, and this horse, he's stretching him out to 2,400 metres. A little question mark over the pedigree, but he's just oozes class.
We heard from Ricky Yu following that trial to get the trainer's reaction after that all-weather 1,200 metres this morning.
That was my idea. I asked him to pull up further, up to 800, because it's a long trip. 2004 is coming up for him. He needed that badly, you know.
Did you change much with his training regime going to 2,400 for the first time?
Yes, slightly. Yeah, we don't want to train for speed. We put in a bit more stamina for this horse.
And between now and next week, just keep things simple with him?
Yes, and again, we know the horse inside out, you know, that after this trial, we just keep him as happy as possible and keep him taking over until on the race day.
Would have seen Bundle Award in that trial too, Paul. Now, Zach Purton rode him to win the Queen Mother Memorial. However, Zach's going to ride this horse come the Champions and Chater and Shoed.
Yeah, so he's on Shoed, so a bit of a change. And look, this trial was pretty good from Shoed. He's another horse. Look, he won his debut run in Hong Kong over 1,800 metres, so he's a real stayer, this one.
Yeah, obviously that he went and lined up at his second start over the 2,000 metres and won by a short margin. This season he's been a Group 3 winner earlier on this season, going back to November. Just a quiet hit out here. So yeah, Zach taking the ride there, and Andrea Atzeni takes the ride on Bundle Award. But let's not forget this horse ran a solid placing come December in the international meeting, and it ensued there over the 2,400 metres, fourth with James McDonald aboard. So 2,400 metres definitely not beyond him.
Absolutely. So that's been the lead-ups. We'll have a full preview of the Champions and Chater on the latest show next week when it comes to racing to win. Break time now. Back to focus on this week at Sha Tin right after this. Welcome back. You are tuned to Racing to Win, the twice-weekly preview show for racing in Hong Kong. Paul, and as always, when we come out of the break, it's time for the last run reminder. And what have you found for us for Sunday? Well,
a horse called Quick Contribution. You've got to look at the start here, because that's the whole key to the race here. He was really awkward away, as you can see. A little bit of a rodeo act, and he was about 5 lengths conservatively last there. Now they did go quite quick, which sort of helped him a little bit, as you can see from the times there. And look, but the way he angled out and finished off strongly, it was still a really good run. And as such, he's drawn 14, unfortunately, for this week. But in saying that, if he's a little bit closer and he does a few things right at the start, he's got a good turn of foot on him at the end, and he wasn't too far away. I think you probably had to look twice there, didn't you, as you saw him come down, just to make sure it was him.
You're right. Always got to look twice, but
yeah,
getting old and blind. Race 8, number 5, Quick Contribution, is the last odd reminder for Sunday at Sha Tin. Here are the meeting details as we fly up the Shingmun River towards Sha Tin Racecourse. 7 on the C+3 and 3 on the all-weather for meeting number 72. Earlier start time 12:45. With a race coming in from Japan midway through the day. Race 6 is our focus race. The Hilltop in the Valley, 1,200 metres. It's a Class 4 with Aurora Patch on the class drop. And he wears a tongue tie for the first time. Wonder Star comes back in distance. Blazing Wukong is on debut. Come Fast Fei steps up in trip. Lucky McQueen first starter. He's had the 8 trials. Rainbow 7 He ran second at his first and only start. Runjet has the tongue tie going on. Groovy Feeling has the blinkers off, and Elegant Life no visor, but blinkers are re-added to him, Paul, and the speed map has Wonder Star shooting to the front.
Yeah, look, he's got some really good early pace, has Wonder Star, so he should lead once again from barrier number 2. Look, Jolly Companion has been racing on the all-weather for his last quite a few starts recently. The last time he was on the turf, he did actually lead over when he was here, so he's going to probably go forward, but he's drawn wide, so he might have to work to get across. The downgrade Aurora Patch should get a nice enough run. Club Ace likes to slot in just in behind. Runjet might be a little bit closer in the run. Now, the first starters, Lucky McQueen's been going forward. He'll just need some luck. He'll be trying to tuck in their midfield somewhere. And Blazing Wukong, who, in his 5 trials, he's been going back and running on strongly as well. So expect those two to sort of be trying to find positions early.
Blazing Wukong has caught some attention at the trials, and here is his trainer, Ricky Yu.
Ricky, bit of talk about this horse, Blazing Wukong. He's impressed plenty at the trials, but what about the trainer?
Well, he is a pretty straightforward sort of a horse, and he have done, I believe he had 4 trials before he's having his first start, and all of his trials been promising. The feedback from this horse is positive. Yeah.
All of his trials have been up at Chung Fa. Was that always the plan, to leave him up there as long as possible?
Not really always the plan, but I think the youngster like him, was a lot of my youngsters, I sent them up to Chung Fa, a lot long after they arrive.
And he's arrived back from Chung Fa in good condition?
Yes, I just saw him this morning. He was back yesterday. I saw him this morning. He's just as good as gold. He's forward and good temperament.
Barrier number 8, what tactics would you like to see ideally if you could have your choice?
I'm going to leave it to the jockey. It depends on how quick they go at the beginning, and maybe be up in a positive position, or take a seat, or either what he led before in his trial in Chung Fa, or either way, or he can be up there leading. So, but I don't want to force him. I don't want to tie him down over any of the riding instruction for the young horse.
There is Ricky Yu. Tommy comes in good form to the meeting, but what of this first starter, Blazing Wukong?
Yeah, I'm really keen on him. He's been trialling well, has Blazing Wukong, and Andrea Etzini is riding here for Ricky Yu, son of Toronado. He was 160,000 through the Inglis Classic sale. Trials have been good. One of those trials where he was 6th, Rising Force was 2nd in, and he looks a very strong chance earlier on. And doesn't look like he's been fully tested in those trials, Paul.
No, he hasn't been let go, so we'll see what happens when he lets go. But as Ricky said there, all the reports coming back are very positive, so look, he could easily make a winning debut.
We'll find out Market a good guy when it comes to Blazing Wukong on the weekend. Here is some race form, Paul. It's down the straight over the 1,000. Come Fast Fei is the name of this horse. Luke Ferraris, Jimmy Ting, first time round the bend, but the last little bit here indicates the 1,200 looks good, doesn't it? It
does. Look, he drew perfectly in barrier number 13 here, but you can see he had to switch right out to the inside of the track. And look, he made up some significant ground as well, son of Rote. So up to 1,200 looks fine, but I think we're going to see the best of this horse up to 1,400 or 1,600.
He was basically in sort of P nowhere in the early part of the race there, and made up a lot of good ground over the final stages. 22.41 for his last section, so he was making good ground on the far side, which is not normally the favoured side, as we know, on the straight course.
And that was Come Fast Fei. Tom, we move on now to Rainbow 7 and Runjet. You're giving either of this pair a chance?
Rainbow 7 obviously was very strong on debut. He had a nice run back on the fence. He was 126 to 1 and closed off behind Golden Tronic Motor. He was the best of the rest, clearly. I'm prepared to give Runjet a bit of a let-off for last start, where he was disappointing, Paul, but he has been back to the Happy Valley trials since, and was good there, I thought, running 5th under a nice enough hold.
Yeah, no, he was. So, yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to put both these two horses in. Definitely outrun his odds, Rainbow 7, but it was a really good run from him. He got the favours from the inside, but the run should be, this race should be pretty similar, I think.
It's a good report for him, Paul. Now, Club Ace runs 3rd here. He's been lurking around the money, Club Ace. Just can't quite get that elusive win on the board at this stage. Alexi Bedell with the ride for John Size, and he has placed course and distance.
Yeah, look, he ran 3rd off of 52. It's his best run. He's barrier number 4 for him. Look, I think he's had his chances. That he had every chance in this race as well. This is not overly strong, this particular race, but look, I'm going to just watch him in this.
Yeah, he was right sort of on the cuffs for me. I think he ended up putting him in for fourth. Got a little bit of interference in the straight. Wouldn't have beaten the winner. I don't think it would have mattered too much. And he was a beaten favourite 3 runs ago. But he was slightly held up there. But as I said, wouldn't have troubled the winner.
His jockey's having a good time of things. Tom Bedell takes the ride this week.
Yeah, he's had 8 winners across the last 10 meetings, has Alexi, with 9 other minor placings, a top 3 rate there. As you can see, and superb move he's got in the second race, which is Class 5. Fortune Warrior, Casa Papa, he's hard to catch. Noble Deluxe down the straight. And then you've got over the second page, Paul Triumphant, more, but disappointing last start, but he did cover some ground.
Yeah, he was. I think his best ride's the last one, actually. Magnificent 9. I mean, second start over the mile, I think looks good for him.
Bring up some trials now, Paul, and we start with Aurora Patch and Handsome Blonde running third. Only had the 1 start, Handsome Blonde. That was in the all-weather. We do know Aurora Patch well. His best form's down the straight, though. He has latched on a few times over the 1,200 metres.
He has. Look, his best run, again, he's run second of a 61 rating, which is the bottom of Class 3. He's now got to carry the big weight here in the top of Class 4. He's got Zach Purton aboard. A little bit of a sticky draw, barrier number 9. There's nothing wrong with the trial, but he'll probably come unders with Zach aboard.
Yeah, I think he will, and the tongue tie's going on. Just looked a peek over the final stages in his last run. That was behind Master of My Universe. Of course, we saw Call Me Glorious come out of that and since win. Stable, though, has only had 1 winner across the last 10 meetings.
Okay, that is Pierre Rung's stable with Aurora Patch looking to hit some form. Lucky McQueen, Tom. He's been well schooled. He's had 8 trials. This turf one up at Chung Fa.
240,000 out of the English Premier Yearling sale. He's been a little bit slow in his last 2 trials. He'd actually been jumping okay in his prior trials, but just a little slow his last couple, but he's been good enough to win them, Paul.
He has, and he's won 2 of his last. He's had 8 trials, so he's been really well schooled. Hood on, tongue tie on. Definitely ability there. So barrier 11, it's just a little bit of a query there. Could be towards the outside.
One of the first starters. Is he in? What about Blazing Wukong?
Yeah, got to go with him. Blazing Wukong will take a chance on the first starter here on top to beat Rainbow 7, who was a massive price when he ran second last start. Lucky McQueen will put him in there for third, and as Tom said, we'll give Runjet another chance here in fourth. So 3, 8, 7, 9.
3 on top as well, Blazing Wukong. Not sure what sort of price he's going to come up at, but he has certainly caught the eye at the trials, Blazing Wukong. Aurora Patch, Runjet has trialled nicely since his disappointing run last start, and Club Ace in there on a minor line. 3, 1, 9 and 10.
That is race number 6. You can find all of the replays on the website for the previews, hkjc.com. Click on audio and video for that race-by-race analysis. Paul, your best bet for Sunday, please.
Yeah, going to go with a horse called Pakistan Legacy. Look, he's really close to a win, this horse. He's only had the 4 starts. He got way back in this run, a lot further back than he should have, well, just the way the race was panned out. But he still stayed on well. He was wide all the way. Prior to this, he actually ran second behind Lady's Choice, beating home Master of My Universe and Goko Win. Crimson Flash was in that run as well. So he comes out of a very, very strong form race, and I think he's a winner waiting to happen. We're going to go with a big chance. Yeah, he's going to be a big price. It's race 5, number 8, Thunder Blink. 1 start down the straight, 1,000, and has won it. And we'll do the play in the last with the Torbian Prince of the Claim, Magnificent 9, and Morgan Success, a QQP.
Best bet is Rising Force in the third event on the dirt. Number 1 for Ricky Yu with Derek Lung, a very good winner first up. The Derek Lung double there with the Almighty Kick, who is in Class 5 and drawn well. And we'll go the forecast, race 3. Rising Force to beat Fun and Fun Together.
The best bet, race 7, number 10, Mr. Energy. Drawn the inside, going to get a perfect run. Lightweight, 116 pounds. The value, race 10, right down the bottom, number 14, Morgan Success, for the Hewitson and White combination. And the QQP is the play of the day, race 7, 1, 7 and 10. That has been Racing to Win. Tom, here's the diary about what is upcoming.
Yes, Members' Day Sunday at Sha Tin. We've got the Sports Club Diamond Jubilee coming up Wednesday night at Happy Valley, and then the final Group 1 of the season Sunday week, Paul. Yes,
it's not far away, is it? And Dubai Honour, of course, will be the headline act.
He will, with Voyage Bubble, the best of the locals looking to win the Triple Crown. That has been Racing to Win. Big thanks to both Tom and Paul, and to you also. We'll see you at Sha Tin on Sunday. Reminder, slightly earlier start time of 12:45.